group or events in your own city. So my name is Devin. I'm based in Jakarta, Indonesia, but I am a full sponsored contributor. And my sponsor is Automatic. So WordPress.com is the company behind Automatic. And what I do is on day-to-day basis, I work with community like you all from across the globe. I help them organize events, meetups, WordCamps, and there are other events as well, such as Contributor Day, Do Action, and recently we have what we call Next Gen event. Next Gen events is actually a project, an experimental that we try to push community to take this opportunity to find new ways of meeting and gathering WordPress enthusiasts. But that's a different story. You can all join my talk later and I talk more about the different events in the WordPress community. Here today, my intention first was actually to gather folks from Baguio, Bacoor, and Bacolod, because these three are existing meetup groups in the Philippines, but they have been dormant. We've been trying to reactivate these groups since last year, but it's been really difficult. We don't want to close them because we still see hopes and potential. I'm talking about close because they're all given a free meetup.com, free to them, but WordCamp Central are paying for the subscription fee. That's why if the meetup is not active, we need to close it because we pay a lot annually for all of, I think, almost 800 meetup groups across the globe. So that's why I have expectation from all of you to at least start the group, the events 3-4 months in a row since you all given the meetup.com page later. So not all of you, but some of you have applied, submit the application. Thank you all so much. I've reviewed the application. I've already vetted or reviewed and moved the status into orientation because that's the next step. So first, I also ask you to register to WordPress.org profile. If you don't have WordPress.org profile, please create one. Sean, have you had? Please create one because it will give you access to the 22 WordPress.org projects from core, design, themes, documentation, photos, CLI, testing, community, polyglots. Polyglots is the team who translates WordPress. WordPress can be translated, plugin, themes, anything, including sustainability, the recent team, the new team. Please create one to give you access. So it's not all about just to submit the application, but it's to give you access to the huge resources of WordPress.org. And then you send the application, which I already received, I vetted, and then next is for you to take the Meetup Organizer training. It's a short online training that you have to do to get you exposed to our resources. You don't have to memorize everything, you just have to know where to find what information because we have a huge handbook. We are working on it to make it like more organized and everything, but it's huge. Everything is in English as well. I hope that's not a problem for folks in the Philippines because you are more familiar and exposed to English language. It is a challenge sometimes for a community like my community in Indonesia, accessing resources in English. And then the second one is this orientation. After this orientation, I will create a meetup.com page for each of you. So for Zamboanga, for CDO, and then for Bulacan, and for Jensan, right? Did I get everything right?
Yes!
Yes! I'm like, okay, make it right there with Zamboanga, CDO, Bulacan, and then Jensan. All right. Well, as I mentioned earlier, if you know anybody from Bacoor, Baguio, and Bacolod, please let me know or let Dreb from Davao or JC from Iloilo because these two are folks from the Philippines who are active at global level. They will be connected to me and we can support them. Anyway, so this orientation is basically written in the handbook. You can read, but the hope is if you see me talking and my gesture, my body language and everything, you will remember when I said this, so you know, all right, Devin said this. So if you face anything that is unclear and everything, you can always refer to the handbook. You can always reach out to me or anybody in the Philippines, JC or Dreb, or just memorize these moments. All right, we share this, and then you can also support each other as well, right? So first, you've been reading a little bit, I think, if you've look at the training, that this thing called 5 good faith rules. So this is just a guideline that we ask organizers to pay attention to, because once you are onboarded or promoted as Meetup co-organizers, you are the representative of WordPress. You are the community leader. What you do, what you say, people will refer to, people will look up to you. So it is not a big ask, I would say, because I know you've been doing WordPress, I know you've been using WordPress, and I know you are aware that WordPress is open source. That means it's accessible to anybody. They can use it to reach their dream and everything, but you need to probably help them, facilitate them, connect them with folks to make their dreams come true. So that's the idea. So I also mentioned a little bit with all of you that because WordPress is open source, everybody can actually organize events. Everybody can have a gathering. However, if you want to be part of the WordPress.org project, that we can support you with paying the subscription fee of meetup.com, or when you need some support to organize WordCamp, for example, or anything else, then we're here to support. And that's where you want to apply, send the application, and join our Meetup chapter program. So for example, I think Paul, you said you've started something in your community on Facebook groups, the same as you, Lynn. You've also started something. That's fine. No one police and say, no, it's illegal, you can't do it. No, that's fine. And you can even continue doing using Facebook or Instagram or Twitter to promote your events. But once you are created the meetup.com page, you have to first announce your event there, because that is the official one, so that people can connect. People who join meetup.com, join your group, that's the first way of them knowing that, oh, there is an event in our community. And then on top of it, you can share it on the other social media platform. And so that's why they usually call your group, the Meetup, the one on meetup.com, official. That's usually how, although we don't really use the term official, it's Meetup chapter program, but sometimes people consider that as official. And you are part of the WordPress open source project, the WordPress.org project. So Lynn, you remember when you said because WordPress started the multi-site, and I was asking, you mean WordPress.com? And then you said, yes, WordPress.com, because these are two different things. Yeah. WordPress as a platform, as an open source project, and WordPress.com as a hosting provider. So it's two different things. I actually mentioned it to the MCs this morning, because she kept saying WordPress, and I'm like, I think what you meant is WordPress.com, the hosting provider, and then it's different than WordPress as an open source project. So yeah, let's help folks to know the difference between these two, because we don't want to confuse them as well. Yes, so there's WordPress as an open source project, which everyone can access. It's free to download, to use. But then there's hosting provider called WordPress.com from Automatic. So, and that means if you are joining the chapter program, you would have to follow our guidelines. We don't have rules, strict rules that you can't do this, you can't do that, or don't do this, don't do that. No, we have guidelines. Why do we have guidelines? Because people are coming from across the world using WordPress and create events. And so we want to have a standard so that everyone can join our space. So we have a standard that is inclusive, that is open, accessible, so people can follow. So you can have your own way of organizing events, but as long as they're not against our guidelines, That's okay. Our guidelines are pretty basic and common sense, I would say. And I'm gonna start sharing the points. Okay. So we have what we call codes of conducts, and these apply to all WordPress events. I don't know if you noticed on WordCamp Manila website, there is actually code of conduct section. And then I don't know whether they've printed it, I haven't seen it, but usually at WordCamps they have a banner outlining the code of conduct. Basically, we're telling folks to be respectful with each other. Be open-minded, be friendly, welcoming, and that's same thing we want from you when you organize events, meetup. Be open, be friendly, welcoming, inclusive. Anybody can join our space. And then from time to time, we also might contact you to ask you to support and participate in our global events. For example, we have annual survey, but we also have something like State of the Word. Have you heard about State of the Word before? You've heard it? It's coming soon. It's gonna be on December 11. It's where Matt Mullenweg, the co-founder of WordPress. So you saw Mike Little this morning giving remarks. The other co-founder is Matt Mullenweg. So there's Matt Mullenweg and Mike Little. And usually Matt Mullenweg gives this State of the Word annually to share what we've done as a project in the past years and then what we expect moving forward to the future. So, and that happens usually in December. This time we're gonna have it in Madrid, usually in New York, but this time it's gonna be in Madrid. And we expect and we encourage, we invite meetups, groups to organize in-person meetups, watch party. So there will be recording. So the timing might be a little bit difficult because it's in Madrid, but there's gonna be recording on YouTube, WordPress YouTube, and you can watch the recording and have a discussion afterwards. Organize a watch party. So that's it. All right, before I move on with the 5 good freight rules that I'm going to mention it to you, is there any questions?
No.
All good?
Yeah.
All good? Anybody needs coffee?
No.
You can run into the room. No? All good? I mean, you can actually stand up if you want. Stand up, exercise if you're a bit sleepy. I'm always excited with this kind of thing, so I won't get sleepy unless I'm already sleepy in the morning. All right, 5 good freight rules. First, the first rule. WordPress meetups are for the benefit of the community. Whatever you do, whatever you decide, whatever you plan and think of for your meetup, it should be for the benefits of community. You are part of the community, by the way, so the benefits will include you anyways. So if you pay attention to what's good for the community, it will also be good for you and your business. But please prioritize what's good for the community. The venue, for example, is it accessible? Is it open for people to come and join? Or they're going to be quite restrictive because they need like permission and needs to do this and that. If they're difficult for you even to use, then it might not be easy for folks to come and access. The speakers or the topic, is it something that will benefit the community? What's the community needs at the moment? I mean, you can get that sort of insight from talking with people in your network. But basically, it's not about your self-gain, it's not about your business profit, it's about what's good for the community, what's best for the community. And so we also ask you not to do promotion that are costly for you, because then you will need more resources. Reach out to tech events, other tech events, tech communities, and this is your chance, this is your moments. If you are doing business with WordPress, you do want to have clients, you want to create a bigger market. Reach out to not only folks who have been using WordPress, but also new potential users, because that means you bring new users to WordPress ecosystem. And that's something that we need to keep remind you of. Be open and inclusive and accessible. And work with JavaScript community, for example, or content marketing community, SEO community. They're big. WordPress is using JavaScript now, so it's not only PHP. So this is a moment to actually grow together and inspire each other. All right, and rule number 2. Rule number 2 is the membership is open to anybody as well. You don't have to be programmer and coder to attend WordPress events. And despite all of the other differences, social status, education, religion, ability, this is open. Your event is open. And it should be also free. However, if you find it like, if there's no coffee or snacks, then it's going to be boring, you can actually reach out to your group member saying, hey, why don't we do a potluck, for example? Or if I prepare like 2 jugs of coffee with this cost, would you all be willing to share, contribute, chip in? That's fine as well. As long as it's transparent, communicative, that's fine. But there's no fee, like, oh, you need 1,000 peso to attend WordPress Meetup. There's no such thing like that. Because it should be easy to organize and it should be easy to attend. If you organize it at a cafe, that's fine as well. Probably sometimes the cafe says, oh, there should be minimum, how do you call that? Minimum payment, whatever. Yeah, at least one person needs to buy 1 drink. That's okay, but communicate it openly so that folks do not come and then be surprised. It's like, oh, I thought this is free. Why do I have to buy coffee or Coke or something? Communicate it, be transparent. That's what we expect for you to do. Yeah, but so basically everyone can join, and then when it comes to venue, we also encourage you to get free venue, donated venue. It can be donated by city government because sometimes they have co-working space or like library or city hall rooms, or from local company. Like for example, I heard Pantheon, Yoast, they have like local offices. You can actually reach out to them saying, hey, can we use your meeting room? But make sure to also be open to other folks to join. So it's no longer like, it doesn't look like it's a Yoast events or Pantheon events, because you take turn, you give chance to all the businesses to actually contribute. And please choose a venue that is not religious, affiliated with religious groups or political parties. So these 2 are a big no. We want to stay neutral and open and accessible. So that's the thing. And another thing, with meetup.com site, they sometimes have all these features that you can use. And sometimes it's for a good purpose that they want to know the members, but instead of bringing new members, you will you will lose members because of so many questions that you set up for people to join your group. Make it open. People can just click one button and be a member of your meetup.com group. Please do not add too many questions. Even you can do that when you organize an event. When you organize an event, you can actually set up at least, you can, not too many questions as well, but like, what's your name, and then what's your profession? Like, are they coder, programmer, or marketer, or SEO practitioner, whatever. But do not have all these lengthy questions, and people won't want to come because it's so many things that they have to do before joining. So that's something to consider. Basically, it should be easy to organize, it should be easy to access. All right, before I continue to the 3rd rule, is there any questions?
Do we have access to the database for the meetup? Like how many members are in here already?
Yes, it's on meetup.com. I can share the link later. Yeah. All right, remind me. Do you use WP admin on daily basis?
Yes.
All right, the dashboard. Have you noticed that there's a widget, events widget that tells you? You notice that?
Yes, yes.
So there is this called events widget that tells you the nearby WordCamps and the nearby WordPress events. Yeah. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, for meetups it's within 250 kilometers, and then for WordCamps it's within 350 kilometers. So you get notification. If there's no events, then probably some other things that will come up in there. But usually it's 3 events that will come up on your events widget. So that is an extra. If you are organized, if you have if you're part of the chapter program, your events will be promoted there. Sorry.
Is there like a requirement, like recommended meetups?
Not per year, but what we recommend you is to have an event at least once a month, because consistency is the key here. How does a successful meetup look like to you? What do you think? Do you have any idea?
Like in general.
Pardon?
You mean in general?
Yeah. What do you?
I feel like when people get to realize there's a lot of people who are using this tool, like they're realizing, whoa, I thought I was alone the whole time, and now it's nice to find that I'm not that different.
You're not
It's an
alone,
actual
kind of
community
thing.
here,
And then you feel like you have support. Yeah, that's a good answer. Yeah, but from our side is WordCamp Central. What I mean, a successful meetup is if you're doing it consistently, and you bring people with WordPress in mind come together. So even though it's small, it's okay. Even though it's just at a coffee shop or somebody's backyard, for example, or a CD park somewhere, but you get together, you get to talk about WordPress, you get to connect with other people who are interested in WordPress. That's already a successful WordPress event, WordPress meetup. Bring people together, especially if you can actually help people who wants to have a website but they don't know how, and then you introduce them to WordPress and they see, wow, it's so easy, and I can have my own business with this, I can have my own platform to share my story with this. That's already successful. So 2 people, if you read our handbook later, you will actually find 2 people meeting, talking about WordPress. It's already considered as a WordPress meetup. So you don't need like, oh, but my meetup group is not like the Manila group that have like 3,000 members. It's like, that's not our indicators of successful meetup event. Or like, oh, it has to be at this co-working space, lavish, with all this like slide projector. No, because there are many formats to actually do a gathering. So the whole speakers with slides, they are actually called lecture, but you can do co-working. Just invite folks to come with their projects and their laptop and work, and then have a chit chat about what they're doing, if they have problems, and perhaps you can support them. Or you can do AMA, ask me anything. For example, Lynn, you just talk about WordPress multi-site, and then you organize an event, ask me anything about multi-site. Then, you don't have to have a presentation, you don't have to have a slide, you can just have a casual brown bag discussion, just talking about multi-site. Or you know things about digital marketing, or SEO, or even what's the connection between having a podcast with having a website? What's the benefit of, okay, once you have a podcast, do you really need a website? Or can you use podcasts to market your website? That kind of stuff, you never know all the connections, but that is interesting to bring into a discussion. And you can also organize a workshop or lightning talks. So lightning talks is, for example, talking about SEO, 3 people talking 3 minutes only about different aspects of SEO. Usually SEO, digital marketing, e-commerce, they're like big topics that always invite people to come, because they're always like, oh, I want to do online shop and everything. So how to make money with website usually, right? But it's not all about money as well. It's about sharing Some people want to share stories about, as you mentioned, some people go through these difficulties of, say, getting a scholarship to have overseas studies. And then once you share your stories, some people who've been trying to get this scholarship says like, oh, I can learn from this person's experience. And I'm not the only one. Apparently other people actually go through the process. So I don't have to give up. Based on this blog, I know that people experience the same thing. I just need to keep trying. And there's tips and tricks on how to nail a scholarship, for example. That's the beauty of having a website as well. All right. So, rule number 3. We all volunteers. You had questions about that earlier, and I said you might want to share it later. We all volunteers. Organizers are volunteers. Speakers are volunteers. Sponsors, I actually like to call it donors or supporters. They donate something, venue or coffee break or anything, because they know the importance of having a meetup, a gathering. So they do it, and we call it in-kind donation. So it's not that, hey, I can give you a free venue or free coffee break, but can I also give away swags and put up all these banners here and there? Remember, your events are community events. It's not marketing events of specific brands. If they are, how do I say, a proper product, a proper brand, they would have marketing budget, and they can do their own marketing events, whatever, bigger, even probably more engaging, but they should not use your community event as their marketing platform. Be mindful of that. But you can still work with them. As I mentioned, they can donate venue, they can sponsor pizza or coffee or soft drinks, whatever they can, and they can attend. They can have some sort of like a little banner, but it's not like right in the front somewhere, and then they can come and they can bring their name card, introduce themselves. You can even say thank you, for example, WordPress.com for supporting. WordPress.com is already supporting meetups, part of the global sponsors. And they can actually speak. So they can speak. However, if they donate something, it doesn't guarantee that their speaking opportunity. It's not like equals to like, okay, if you want to speak, you have to donate. Or I donate so I can speak, right? That's not how it works. But if they sponsor, if they donate a venue and they have something to share with the community, that's fine. But make sure also they don't do a sales pitch or direct marketing in their presentation. That means they don't talk about the products, but they talk about the technology, the theory, the learnings, for example. And they can use their brand. They can mention, they can have a logo, but not on every slide. And it's not like big marketing ads, placements everywhere. No. They can actually be there representing the brand, but yeah, it's not a cheap marketing platform. Your event is a community event. All right. You were talking about what if somebody, so you want to call a speaker, I think, from, for example, somewhere and require transport, and what if a company pays that person's transport? That's fine, but it just doesn't have to go through you. So there's no money transaction in between. Yeah.
My actual question was that, for example, because just to clarify, the speakers pay for their own airfare.
Okay.
Pay
All right.
for their
Yeah.
accommodation and logistics and all that.
Well, here's the thing. Meetup is a local group. So we encourage you to bring and grow local resources. So you don't have to bring speakers from outside. Give a chance, give the space for people who are in your community, in your city, in your area to share.
In the context of our local culture, more people would be more interested in the event if there are people coming from outside.
Okay, that's fine as well. You can make a call, you can invite, you can make a call. Say whoever wants to speak about this here somewhere, they can. Please put them together with local resources. So that also brings local people to share. And if they will